Hello, my name is Margie Bryant. I'm here with Grace Najean. And tune in, folks, and feel free to share this interview with Grace. I had the privilege of meeting Grace when I listened to her story and read her story in Stories from the Heart, which was a beautiful story that you shared, Grace, and I'd love you to share it with our viewers. And it's a story to basically be yourself. And so viewers, it's a story of actually going home to yourself.
Yeah.
And Grace is a wonderful leadership and mindset coach in her own company, Grace Coaching
Company.
And she's got a remarkable story. She's from Korea, from Seoul, and she lived in France.
Yes.
So you've got three beautiful languages that you speak.
Yes.
And you also have been Tony Robbins trained. So tune in, folks, feel free to share, and let's just hear incredibly Grace's story. Now, Grace, take us back to that day in December 1997 in Korea. So people, this is an incredibly personal story, and it's like everything in moments of tragedy, it can also be your moments of breakthrough.
Yeah.
And so, Grace, give us a bit of a story of what actually happened and your journey.
Yeah, so 97 was really interesting year for me, how to say, because I get married, I got a new job.
Huge.
Yeah, new job.
You're in Paris.
And then in Paris, with my husband, we settled in Paris with a new job, so excited, a new apartment, and that was in September. And in November, I had a call from my dad saying my mom was in an emergency and she's not going really well. So I had to ask to my new boss, I have to go back home. So he granted me really, 1 week, 10 days, and then give me even some money to, call it back. Yeah. And then I went back to Korea, and she was already gone, I think. And, they put some machines, to just hold her till my, arrival, and then I think that's it. So what happened was my dad had 7 years of stroke, paralyzed for 7 years because he had a brain stroke because of business, stress and alcohol, because all the entrepreneurs they drink, in Asia especially. Anyway, so he had a stroke and the 7 years of struggling. They said he would never walk and talk again. My mom took care of him so much. He could walk and talk again after 3 years. But
How
I think
much the carers are always caring for the people, and
so,
they can often be the victims.
That's right.
First.
So I think she was exhausted, and then she hid her illness herself.
Yes.
And I was in France. I'm only child, by the way. So I think she did it, I think, for family.
She did.
Yeah.
She did.
So
she was remarkable, Grace.
Yeah.
And then it went on to your father, tragically.
Yeah, so then my mom passed away in November, and 1 month later, I got a call again. Then my dad was really, really bad, and he passed away just 1 month apart. But in some way, I think, in that moment, because of pain, I couldn't see it. But I think that was the best thing for him. Because anyway, I was in France, he didn't have anyone around him, being next to my mom was the best thing, he could have.
Yes.
So,
And Grace, you have a remarkable story, because at the age of 4, you were really a very talented pianist.
Yes.
And for the next 19 years, you were an incredible pianist, as in an award-winning pianist in Korea.
Yeah, in Korea, yes.
And in your book, as you share, that to come second was really a rarity for you.
Yes.
You were always first.
Yes.
So an extraordinary story of just an incredible concert pianist.
Yes.
And this was remarkable in your journey, and you're a very high achiever as well in your life and in your career. So it was very difficult. But your mother was your major supporter.
Yeah, she was my manager, I would say.
And she really had tremendous faith in you, and wanted you to have an independent life, and encouraged you, which is extraordinary, to go from Korea to France.
Yeah.
And so you set off as a 19-year-old.
Yeah. So in fact, I think my story is extraordinary because I had a mother who was extraordinary, really. Um,
As mothers are, can be.
yes, but I think she was a particularly really wise woman, and for in a generation, and she was quite a visionary person. So there are lots of things I realize now. Oh, she did that really with a vision, ahead. So I'm so grateful for that. So yes, so I started piano at the age of 4. I think piano is really, really the foundation of who I am, now.
It gave you discipline, it
Yes.
gave you incredible structure. How many hours a day would you play the piano?
I used to play 3 to 6 hours every day. When I had a really, really important competition, I used to do 6 to 8 hours even. But when you're young, you don't know, and you love, and somehow you caught up by the success because more you do, better, and you want more as well. So I didn't feel that much hardship or difficult. Just a discipline came naturally because I wanted to do better and better and better. But indeed, they gave me discipline in my life, and somehow, in music, you can't just start playing something. You have to be organized. So if you have a big piece of 30 minutes or 1 hour of piece, you need to analyze it and then structure it how you can tackle. Yeah. So it's a step by step. So I'm really good at project manager in a sense because I learned that naturally.
And are able to help others to
Yes.
structure it through and music can be so connected to other parts of our brain.
Yes.
So you can access that for mindset and for
Absolutely.
leadership. So when people are struggling, Grace is your queen to reach out to for that. So she's got this incredible background. So continue with the story. So it was the curveball really when your father's business, as
Yeah,
it does in
rough.
entrepreneur,
Yeah.
we had a rough patch, and then you had to really think of a different way, and your mother could see
Yeah.
leave the country, leave out and go to
Yeah.
France.
Yeah.
And did you try to do, what did you do in Paris? Obviously you arrived in a foreign country, and how many people can relate to that?
Yeah.
Being a migrant in a new country, you had no language, and you were trying to learn, not learn the piano, but be still at the same high level of being a pianist.
So I arrived when I was 19. I didn't speak any French, a word. So that was a really tough start. But I didn't realize. I thought, everybody got the same when you're 19.
Absolutely.
Just to do it, right? So at the beginning, I wanted to get into conservatory to continue piano. But even young age, you don't speak French. Doesn't matter. You have that intuition of, no, it's not right. It's not going well. So I gave up piano, and then I learned French for 3 years to speak correctly French. And then after 3 years, I decided to study something. So my first major was hotel management. Because I was thinking, I never traveled in my life because of, piano. I was sitting all the time, I was like, if I do hotel management, then I can travel around the world. So let's do it. It looks really interesting.
And a good place to be, to learn it in
that's
France.
right. And then somebody just told me, what? In Switzerland, École Hôtelière de Lausanne Hotel Management School is
Very,
one of
very
the
good,
best.
the very best.
And I was like, that's it. I'm going there. That's for me.
And so close, France to
That's
Switzerland,
right.
very close.
Yeah. So I was very fortunate, and
And
I
they
was
speak
accepted.
French.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But apparently there were very long waiting lists, but I didn't even know.
No.
I didn't know
No.
because I was just so naive.
Yeah,
and it's
this is
just-
the beauty of youth, isn't it?
That's right.
And you can travel to it. But all of this is giving you an incredible background, although you don't know it in your own journey. So the music, the learning French, learning another language, all
Yeah.
of that sets you up, number one, that you can change no matter what you're doing. And so this interview is about being yourself. And how many people can relate to that? They may feel stuck, Grace, and it's really is a mindset, and you would know much about this and help with leaders. But talk about how you introduced to Tony Robbins and how you came to Australia.
Oh yes, so I did 15 years of corporate work in France. So I was a the
Sales manager as well.
sales manager, and I was a project manager for
And more
partnerships,
degrees.
more degrees, MBA,
MBAs.
and a master's, and because I was like, yes, I need to be successful, and I have to have MBA to be successful, so I did all that. And then after that, I became a mom, and so my daughter
There's
was
another
born.
curveball.
There you go. So 2003, and not having my parents and my family, I had to deal with it. My husband, we
Of
were like a
course.
team. So after 1 year, I was running all the time. My nanny was looking for my daughter more than me.
The
And
super mum tried to do it all. The best
I'm
of
not
the
sure
business.
I was Superman, but I thought I could be a Wonder
be.
Woman.
Wonder
or,
Woman.
Yeah, or Superman, or because
I could do it all.
That's how we educated, right? You have to do everything well,
Just take
perfect.
it.
Yeah. So I tried to do that, and I realized
This
it
is
was
not
quite
working.
hard, really hard. So
Exhaustion.
yeah, at work I was worrying about home, and home I was worrying about work, and I was like, what is this word? This is not what I was looking for. So
Drop in the comments if you can relate to that, viewers.
so with my husband, we decided to become a parent. We need to take that responsibility, Otherwise, what's the point, So we reviewed our, life, and then we decided to move in
Another
different
change.
countries. Yeah, there you go. So we compared some different countries, benchmarking, and then after that we choose to come to Australia. So we applied the permanent visa from France, and we got it after 18 months. So when our daughter was 3, we sold everything, and I resigned. My husband took 1 year leave in case, and then we just came here into Australia. And then fortunately, we had the 6 months of the family time, so
Good.
we traveled around Australia,
Good to
discovered
choose.
Australia. It was kind of investment of time and money.
Smart.
Yeah.
Research.
Yeah, here you go. So we started really well.
And you chose
Australia.
Perth, so it's our privilege that you're here,
Yeah,
Grace.
we did all around,
Yeah.
really every single city, and then Perth was the best
Yeah,
city.
it is. It's a great place to call home.
Yeah, absolutely. And for family life, I think it was a really, for me, this is a paradise,
It is.
Yeah,
It
so,
is. There's so much to offer in Western Australia.
yeah. So, and we settled in Perth, and I get into coaching, and I didn't know what to do. I had my certificate and then I have, everything, but I didn't know what to do. Who am I? Who there I am to take care of people's life? I had that feeling at that time. So I went to see Tony Robbins. Everybody was like, Tony here, Tony there, Tony's the best.
Very good idea.
Yeah, so don't be silly, Grace. You need to go to see him. So I went to see Tony with a friend who did the same
And for
school.
our viewers who maybe not know Tony Robbins, he is a wonderful...
Tony Robbins is almost the creator of coaching industry in the US,
Yeah.
and a great man, a big heart, hard work.
Yeah.
So over 40 years now he's working at the
Mindset-
35. Yeah,
mindset king.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, he's a great man. So I went to see him with a friend in the same school, and to be honest, for 3 hours I was sitting, like this. Oh my goodness, what is this? Rah, 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 American, jumping around. I was like, 3 hours.
Meanwhile, the mind was changing.
Yeah, and
But your
everybody
ego-
was jumping, and I was like, with a Korean and a French background.
Absolutely.
I was like, what the?
What is this? Yeah, what's this?
Yeah. So anyway.
All this energy.
That's right. But the good thing was I was really fortunate because I studied coaching. I
Yes.
could see where
Yes.
he's coming from, why he's doing that.
Yes.
The
psychology.
intention.
The
That's
psychology.
right. I was like, oh wow, this is amazing.
This is
what he's
amazing.
doing. It's impossible.
And the energy is electric.
That's right. So then after 3 hours, I was jumping in others. And then the fourth day, the last day, I signed up all his events.
Oh, well done.
I did.
So you're a certified coach? You're Tony
I'm
Robbins?
Tony Robbins' coach. Yes, I work for him. He's my boss now. Sorry, Tony. So the first day, I think I signed up everything. So I did 4 events in 5 months. So I didn't do anything else, just his events, everything. So I was client before becoming coach, and then I did all this journey, and then I was invited to become his coach later on. That's it. So that's how I started.
And he spots talent for sure.
Yeah,
Grace.
but anyway, he brought me real transformation for myself.
Absolutely. So it's absolutely possible, and you're able to give people that experience.
That's right.
Right
because
now.
I know I've done it.
You've done it.
So I know how it works, and I know it's possible. And we are doing it as a family now. My daughter, she went to UPW last year too. It's a
Place to go.
Yeah.
But she's now 13, isn't she?
She's 15.
15 now.
Yeah.
And
So-
Grace, you have a lovely story there too, that someone gave you some wisdom about when you transition into teenage years to be their coach and their consultant, and you have done this beautifully.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah,
So
I
this is
posted
another
it on
example.
Facebook. Yeah, so of course, I think as a coach, it's really important having a coach or mentor for myself, right?
Yes,
So-
absolutely. And mothers need mentors as well.
Yes.
To know, as children grow up, they're no longer just a child,
That's
your
right.
child.
Yeah.
It'd be wonderful if they come to you to seek wisdoms from you,
Yeah.
and so you did this transition beautifully.
Yeah, thank you.
So,
and you learn so much from your child.
So she's
you
gone
know.
on to do, what is she doing? What
Oh, she's a tennis player. So
tennis
she's
player,
very,
so she's
very
asking
much
you for
into
advice
tennis.
as a consultant.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is a high compliment,
Yeah,
Grace.
because before I was more like I tend to tell her what to
Yeah.
do. Now I sit back and then she comes to me.
a proper consultant.
Yeah, when she needs it.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
so
it.
which
And that's the
makes-
breakthroughs. That's the breakthroughs
Yes,
that you. So
absolutely.
you are modelling what your mother did, really, for you to give you that grace to go off. She named you
Probably.
well.
That's a good point.
She named you well. She gave you wings. So you give people their roots and then you give them their wings. And it is really a privilege today to talk to you, Grace. And
you.
reach out to Grace for coaching, for mindset, for leadership, and reach out to her business and her website. She has a new website up. And Grace, it's been a privilege to talk to you today.
Thank you
So-
very much for your time.
Yeah,
and
it's
inviting
been
me.
great.
Thank
And
you.
reach out and read her story, a beautiful book Lisa Evans wrote, and was actually a composition of all sorts of authors
Yes.
in it, stories from the heart. And you can go to Lisa Evans' website and get a copy of that, Stories from the Heart. And Grace is one of the people and the contributors in this wonderful book, and she shares her story more fully.